You're listening to Small Bikes, Big Hearts. This podcast is brought to you with thanks to Verdant Brewery, whose donation has directly helped St Luke's Hospice with their valuable work in the community. I've never been to Lake Windermere, so of course I'm going to get fact checked now by my dad. Yes, you did. We brought you here. Blah blah blah. Yeah. Nice work with the volcanoes. Oh, chocolate and orange cake was all they had, by the way.
That's spot on.
And now people have got to hear me eating and drinking. Well, what a stunning day to get back on the bikes.
People messing about in boats.
Just sat by Lake Windermere, sun poking through the clouds now, warming it up, birds skimming the water, and in the distance on the other side of the lake, well, not that far in the distance now really, all of the crags that were made up that profile on the Morecambe beachfront.
I don't know what that one is called. I'm not even going to guess it.
No.
But it will have a name, they all do. Something in Gaelic that means, ooh, that's big. In Scotland, when you go, they've got all these Gaelic names for both the valleys and the hills and all the rest of it. And they're hard to pronounce, but they translate in English as something quite prosaic, as the valley with the deer, or the Red Cliff. It's basic as that.
Yeah.
Looks better in Gaelic.
So just across from us, where we're enjoying a nice coffee and orange cake, is the Turn, which is a steamboat. I mean, is it still a steamboat? That's the question.
I mean, they might have turned the engine to be fired by oil or diesel.
Yeah, diesel maybe. It sounds a bit diesely, doesn't it?
But there is definitely a steamboat on Lake Windermere.
My dad used to service a steamboat, which I believe was just on the water just outside York Museum. As we used to go to York Museum because he had to work on various engines and locomotives and traction engines. And I think York Museum had the Flying Scotsman at that time, certainly a big loco anyway that I remember him working on all day. So I got my first Thomas the Tank Engine book. But there was a steam boat, a lot smaller than that, but a similar kind of profile, you know, long and thin, almost narrowboat like really. Of course, memory is I mean, we're talking 50 years ago, believe it or not. Goodness. So it may be that wasn't just outside York, but it was definitely a steamboat. It's a paddle steamer, but a miniature one. Yeah.
And I think you'll find, although I stand to be corrected by people who listen in, and
you mean my dad? Come on, let's be specific. Good work, Dad.
There is a paddle steamer, I believe, on Lake Windermere, which is steam powered and it is paddles. Now, tell me if I'm wrong.
You're wrong.
By the way, great cake.
That's delicious, isn't it? So we're at the youth hostel, just by the top end of Windermere. What's the nearby village?
Ambleside.
Ambleside, yeah. So about a 40 or 50 mile ride to base.
It's 40 miles.
Well, I say base because it's an interesting one because we haven't managed to get in contact with the guy, have we? Last contact was March the 12th, so today could be the first day where the wheels fall off in terms of accommodation.
Well, there's
no communication yet.
No email, no message.
I think there's a mobile number on one of the...
I've got the number here.
Okay.
Shall I ring it?
Yeah, I would.
I'll just walk over there.
You don't have to.
Calling. Well, I can't hear anything.
Well, you may be struggling with a reception problem here. Well, that's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Can't hear anything.
Maybe try texting him.
Yeah, right. He's again.
I mean, this is a fish pond compared to Loch Ness, isn't it?
Certainly, well, it is. Who's got WhatsApp? No, he doesn't. He doesn't have WhatsApp. He doesn't have Messenger. Yes, it is a fish pond. No offence, Windermere, but Loch Ness famously is deep. Hence the monster legends.
What do you think of all of that?
Nonsense.
I didn't even need to ask.
Well, they've had some quite sophisticated technology down there. They can, if they can find a nuclear submarine, they can find a monster.
Yeah. What about the famous sighting of the motorcyclist as he was riding along and it slithered across the road in front of him and into the water, nearly causing him to crash? No? That was one of the earliest reported sightings.
But you and I both know that perception is very often very divorced from reality.
Depends what reality you're living in.
Well, some would say that because of the way the human mind works, there is more than one objective reality. We have to struggle to find it.
Others would say that there are multiple objective realities, but you can only ever see one of those realities at a time, and that your consciousness does have the ability to traverse through those multiple realities.
Yes.
So in one instance you did have a red bike in France and I moved into a reality where your bike was black and always had been black to you.
The only problem with that theory is if it happens too often, it can seriously muck up everything we do, because we don't know if we're in a shared reality or two different ones. And why would our reality be overlapping quite so much with the Venn diagram, except for the colour of the bike?
Because
Doesn't make
there
sense.
are infinite universes, so it's easier to move to the nearest one where it is just simple things. Now, Colin Bannon, Dr. Colin Bannon, I'll hasten to add, told me about a study that he was reading up on. Not that I'm suggesting that Colin Bannon believes this or in any way endorses this. It was just a study that he read that he talked to me about, And it was about the power of prayer
Oh yes.
and the effect that it had on a control group of cancer patients.
Yes.
And they had a group of cancer patients that were prayed for, and a
Control group.
that weren't. And the group that were prayed for had a disproportionate recovery rate positive.
Yeah.
But here's the kicker. All of those patients, whether they recovered or not, whatever group they were in, had all died of natural causes before the experiment started. Whether it was old age. So they picked two groups of cancer patients that were all already dead, and yet the prayer still scientifically measured affected the prayed for group in the past.
But whilst that is interesting and warrants further thought, there is a professor of alternative medicine called Professor Edvard Ernst, based at Exeter University, who has written several books on these sorts of subjects, including homeopathy and the power of prayer. And he does something called a meta-analysis,
Yeah.
where he gathers as many studies that have been done as possible and does an overall look. And the evidence is, and this isn't, I'll use an academic term, there's no evidence for the power of prayer.
So,
One study is always an outlier.
mhm.
And that's the point of a meta-analysis. Studies with similar results can clump together, but you very often get these outlier studies. And
Now,
for whatever reason, so relying on one study is dodgy, to say the least.
Okay, fair. And I want to clarify that I'm not implying that prayer is evidence of a monotheistic individual.
No.
However,
That's a good point.
Lynn McTaggart wrote a fascinating book called The Field, and she's now doing studies with, they call it the power of 8, so it's 8 people or more thinking about the same thing with the same outcome can affect reality. And this
That's the thesis.
That's the thesis, and it ties in with the slit experiment, that the observable universe is affected only when the observer is present. If you have 8 observers or more and they're all considering the same outcome, that's the thesis.
Yeah.
I find all of that completely fascinating. And if you imagine, let's just take for an example, 30,000 Israelites fleeing Egypt, looking for the promised land, 30,000 people in one group thinking about the same thing, if that is true, would have an effect to appear like there is a deity or a being or a protector helping them, but in fact they were helping themselves. And also failing as well.
Failing, yeah.
Because if you read the stories surrounding that, do you know what that is?
That is a black-headed gull.
Ah, it does make sense, being as it had a black head
Very black
and sounded very much like a gull. Yeah, there's another one. They don't seem to be quite so scavengery as the
they've not
the
gone for
Plymouth
the cage,
Barbican
have they?
seagulls, which are, you know, most of those have tattoos of anchors on their wings.
Little red legs and a very black head.
They look like they're wearing makeup around their eyes.
And in winter, they lose that black head. Well, as delicious as that cake is,
You can't finish it, can you?
No.
And I don't think you should.
no,
No.
it's taken me nearly 50 years. We've said this before, haven't we? To get over this impulse, this obsession that if it's put on your plate, you have to eat it.
Well, it's an odd thing because I don't know if it was a hangover from the return. Yeah, pulling out. Well, it's moving along at quite a lick, isn't it? Yeah, I don't know if it is a hangover from the rationing.
Or whether it's just working class.
Maybe.
Food
But
is scarce.
you know, children being punished for not finishing their food is an odd one, isn't it?
That's an odd one.
You know, I've had enough, or I don't feel like eating. No, you must eat to a schedule, and you must eat every mouthful on the plate.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, how does that? That's a bizarre.
Thankfully,
thing.
I was never punished. My mum and dad never insisted on that. The rule always was, though, how can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
Yes, well, yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
which is fair
yeah.
enough,
I mean, is that not punishment to a child? No pudding if you don't eat your greens and your meat.
Or is it just a sensible rule? Yeah, I mean, the child may perceive that as punishment, but then children do have to learn that there are boundaries. Otherwise, they grow up into
100%.
selfish.
Yeah,
What's the word? Well, there's several words
Entitled.
we could use,
yeah. I
have
don't
to
know.
learn.
I can't comment. I've not had children.
No.
I've certainly not had parental responsibility of a child. So I can't really comment. But I do think that what I see around me now with children and behaviour and fraught parents is a slightly different situation to the 70s,
Yeah.
where you just get a wallop.
The pendulum has swung somewhat
It
from
has.
that sort of
One
parenting
extreme to the other. There's
to, it's called permissive parenting.
yeah.
There you are, darling. If you want to stand in the puddle and walk into the front hall with your muddy boots, you're just enjoying your childhood.
Not enough of them running around in places like this and
No.
having adventures and discovering.
That you can drown.
There's a cheerful ending.
Teaches them a lesson, though.
Yeah,
Useful
permanent-
life lesson.
Permanent one. Useful life lesson, yeah. End of. Well, the Swift is not quite as romantic a boat
No,
as
it's
the Tern, is it? Maybe you could get a landscape one of that one coming in. Yeah. That's a job, isn't it? Captain of a boat on Windermere. What a relaxing job. Well, should we call that lunch?
Yeah, we'll call that lunch.
Start thinking about making a move?
Yeah.